Hey guys, welcome, Pure Solar guys. This is a special edition of the Signals AZ podcast, and we're having you guys in for a lot of different reasons. One is I'm looking at solar for my house, so it's completely a selfish episode and trying to figure stuff out so I can get great content and then figure out what I need for the home. But also letting our listeners know that we're launching a new show on the cast11.com podcast, which we are calling, drumroll please, Empower Prep Unplugged with the Pure Solar guys. So introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Kent. I'm Kent Phillips. I'm the sales manager and solar manager at Pure Solar and Electrical. And I'm joined here by...
Yeah, this is Travis. I'm the owner of Pure Solar. I've been running the company for 20 years now, and we started 50 years ago.
Wow. So I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but when were solar panels first invented? Do we know? I have no idea. And maybe I'm putting you on the spot because they've probably been around a very long time. NASA was probably toying with them
They're
first,
the first,
right?
Yeah, they're the first. They, put them up in space,
Yep.
And then they tested them and figured out that, hey, this is something we can put everywhere.
Exactly. But so people know, Pure Solar does a lot of different things in terms of full electrical service for homes, generators, solar panels, obviously. Break down for us all the different services you guys provide.
Yeah, so and going on with that, with a lot of the monsoon seasons going on, a lot of people have been losing a lot of power lately. So that's something that we definitely provide, whether it be generator power or whether it come from the
Right.
solar and battery backup power. But that's something that is getting bigger and bigger, as well as besides generators, solar systems, hybrid systems. A hybrid system compared to a typical system
Right.
would just be something with a battery backup. But then we're a full electrical company. We do commercial, residential. We do all of Arizona.
Okay.
And so
in terms of what are people doing these days? Because like you mentioned, we're on well, which is not uncommon up here. So if I run out of power, I'm out of water.
Yep.
So my wife and I have bought a generator and we're getting that switch put in and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Our next step is we want solar just to have that. I just got my last APS bill, probably running too much. Our thermostats were acting wonky and we needed some servicing. We got the HVAC service, but my bill was over $400.
Yeah.
So what's better? We don't need a real long answer on this, but what's
great
better?
question,
Is
though.
owning a system or leasing a system? And I think I see that all the time online is, people feel like they got bamboozled by the utilities because the power's getting put back in the grid, but they're not really saving any money. What's better?
So it's a great question, and it really does depend on the individual themselves because, leasing a system, the biggest difference between leasing a system and buying a system or financing a system is either you're going to own the system or somebody else is going to own the system. So with the lease system, that's where this company would say own that system. That means that this company is going to go ahead and receive the federal tax credit as well as the Arizona state tax credit. Compared to financing a system or paying cash for a system, the homeowner themselves is going to receive that 30% federal tax credit as well as the Arizona state incentive as well. So biggest difference is as well as with leasing a system, you're going to have usually two bills to where you're always going to have a lease bill and you're usually going to have an APS bill to where then you're looking at two things. Whereas if you're paying cash for a system or financing a system, the cash system, you usually have your ROI. The system should pay itself off by this time. Whereas leasing, you're going to have a continuous bill, which will have the opportunity to at least buy it outright. But that's the biggest difference between leasing and financing or paying cash on a system is really the incentives. And if you're a person that can't receive the federal ITC, then it might make more sense to just do a lease system.
Right.
So,
What What do you see people doing more of? Are they leasing or are they buying outright?
Buying outright.
Buying outright.
Yeah.
It seems to make more business sense in the long
It
run,
does.
right?
And with the way interest rates and loans in any category, whether it be, electrical, solar, or buying a home or a car, loans are, on another level right now too. So
Do you see a lot of people, because we had a solar water pump on a off-grid property that we were going to build out in Morgan Ranch, and it was a really simple system for irrigation. Do you see people doing more of that as people want to get more independent? We learned a lot in 2020 and COVID, and I'm not a doomsday or anything like that, but it certainly gave us a glimpse of the reality. Like our logistics system is more fragile from a food and transportation standpoint than we thought about. And I think that conveys or transfers over that thought to our power grid. And if that went down, are we self-sufficient enough to keep having power, refrigerating our food? A lot of us that are on well, is our water pump going to work? Do we see a trend? Do you guys actually see more and more consumers investing in those things?
Big time. So about 70% of what we do, I would say, as far as on the solar side of the business, would be off-grid and hybrid systems. So that include that backup power for that homeowner.
Right.
So we usually provide, a couple different options so they could see exactly what they're getting. But a lot of people are under the impression, I've got solar panels on the roof, power goes down, these things should be producing juice still, right?
Right.
And that's not the case, right? So that's where you're going to need, different kinds of equipment to go ahead and allow your grid tie system to now be its own power plant. So now, biggest difference between like a generator, like what you're working with now, and a hybrid system is you're refueling that battery every day by the juice of the sun, right? To where your generator, you're going to have to rely on a propane, natural gas, or diesel type fuel to keep that thing running. So if things did go bad and now you're having to rely, okay, can I get this propane back out to come and refill and then run my generator?
Right.
Whereas the solar and batteries, you're going to be refilling that thing every day, and even in cloudy weather, these things are still producing power.
Right. Do you guys also do wind turbines?
So,
because I don't know.
Great question, right? Because we did them, but that's where we've noticed, as far as that goes, it works more like a trickle charger, to where if you do have a battery or backup, you can go ahead and utilize that. But we've noticed that adding just even a couple more panels can take care of what that wind turbine would do in a year-round basis. So,
I've noticed that technology's got better because, for example, I hate to say this, but I bought little trickle chargers from Amazon for my quad because it sits for a long time. It's super easy to, and then for our travel trailer, we don't have power where we store it on the property. That trickle charger keeps the marine batteries fresh whenever we go on a trip. Do you guys have component-based systems like that you can help educate customers on? Because I think it's so simple. I worry that I'm doing something wrong when I hook it up because the technology's gotten
it's changing
better,
every day, literally every day. And as far as the technology alone, but the chemistry on like even your batteries, what you're using in your car, what people are using in their homes, what they're using on. They got different kinds of chemistry that people aren't really aware of, and that's what our podcast will at least cover is the differences between these types of things. But the trend is going to pretty much prepare themselves for their family per se, to make sure that they're they've got the power for whatever they need and whatever's important in their lives.
So talk to us real briefly about what your show, which I love the title of it. I got to get my brain. Empower, Prep, Unplugged. What are you guys going to talk about on your show monthly? What are just some of the topics?
Yeah, so we're going to go over a few different topics. So, besides just the, what is solar going to do for you? How is it, affect each person differently compared to, how each person lives? Like we also talked about the incentives, there's always going to be new incentives, whether it's commercial or residential. We're going to talk about the actual chemistries, the differences between, this type of battery, that type of battery, what a tier 1 panel is, what a tier 2 panel is. As far as like even in just to DIY kind of information, we want to go ahead and help people just understand before they make a large investment, whether it be electrical, generator, solar, just to understand exactly what they can expect. Because we've seen a lot of, hey, one size fits all, and that's just not the way that works as far as, hey, I want these kinds of things to be able to run.
Right.
And, we just take a more detailed approach to where we want to just teach and let these homeowners know, or business owners just understand what they're actually getting themselves into before they get themselves into it.
Gotcha. Guys got any good electric jokes?
I mean, I don't think they're appropriate for
They're
this
not
podcast.
Oh, come on, man.
I mean, we're electrical guys. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
so you have
construction
some.
guys. Yeah, exactly. Once this mic turns off, I got you guys. So.
Okay. All right. And if somebody wants to find out more about you guys online, what's the website they can go to?
Yeah, so that would be, it's pursolaraz.com.
So it's P-U-R, solar.
Thank you for saying that, because, a lot of people hear pure and think, okay, there's an E after that. So it's pursolaraz.com.
Awesome.
As well as our Facebook page. You can go ahead and look us up on Facebook. I've also got a Facebook page, Solar Solutions by Kent Phillips. You can go ahead and check that out.
Cool.
Working hand in hand with Pure Solar. So, and we also have a couple different locations office-wise, so you can always stop in anytime. We have a location here in Prescott Valley, right next to the Denny's.
Okay.
We also got one up there in the Cottonwood. Been there since originally 1974, so that's our OG.
Okay, that's your OG location.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Or OE in this regard.
Exactly, right.
Okay. I'll have to check out the store here in PV. I wasn't aware of that. I know where the Denny's is.
Yep.
So is that off the highway there?
Yeah.
That location?
So there's a few different places. You'll see like a checks cashing place and a gold mining place, and we're right tucked between them two. So
okay.
Heck yeah. And then you'll see our work truck always in the parking lot as well, a Pure Solar and electrical work truck.
Okay, we'll put up your phone number and the address on the screen for the podcast. I appreciate you guys coming in. We're really excited about your show. I got to reference it again, but Empower, Prep, Unplugged, Pure Solar, Prescott Valley, Cottonwood, been around 50 years, so you guys know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're the quiet type.
Yes, I am.
He's the boss.
Yes, the boss man. Exactly.
But I'm really excited. It needs to be spoken about more, just to educate everybody, get them offline, so to speak, get them comfortable with making that decision, because it can be a big one.
It can be. And a lot of people right now are getting, knocked on doors, and that's one thing we personally don't do in our company. We've kind of just grown as an organic lead company to where we're not going to knock on someone's door and then, try to set them up with someone. They're going to talk to a professional from the beginning, and just to provide that information for them.
So we're excited to welcome you guys in Pure Solar to the Cast11.com network. Empower, Prep, Unplugged. We'll see you guys soon.
Guy, thank you so much.
Thanks, fellas. Take care. Bye.
Bye.